Thank you very much. My name is Steve Dungworth. I'm Director of Digital Transformation for Accent Housing, which is a social housing organisation. I do feel a bit of a fraud here, as in I've got to be the least most technology-focused person in the room, and I mean the big room, because I think my job is about connecting people, data and technology, and I'm definitely focused on the people and the data rather than the technology. So, a little bit about ourselves. Sorry, I should just say, for those of you that promise to keep listening to me right to the end, we do have a prize, and I'll throw out a blue ball and you will receive a very interesting prize. That's just to make you stay, really, but there we go. So, a little bit about Accent Housing. So, we are a provider of affordable homes. We have 21,000 homes throughout the country, probably 2/3 based up in the north around Bradford, Middlesbrough and Burnley, and we provide affordable homes. What's an affordable home? Well, rent is probably somewhere in the region of £90 to £100 per week. So for people living in London, that is probably a little bit shocking. Our turnover is around 100 million, and we house 37,000 residents, and we have 475 staff to collect the rent and do the repairs. And as far as I'm concerned, this is all about the people. The people, like these people here, our customers and our staff. If you go to our website, so-far.co.uk, you will hear some incredible stories. Oh, is it? How's that? That better? Fantastic. I'm sorry. Well done. So as I say, if you go to our website, so-far.co.uk, you will hear some incredible stories of people and how they've overcome difficulties, whether it's disability or finances or lack of employment opportunities, and some of those stories will make you quite emotional. It makes us quite emotional. So it's all about the people. Our contact centre is based in our head office in Shipley, near Bradford, and we handle, as a single 40-seat contact centre. Only 3 years ago we had 6 different contact centres, one in each region. We only have 5 regions and 1 for repairs. So now we just have the one contact centre, and that deals with around 500,000 contacts through voice. And that's about 80% of all the contact we have with our customers, whether that's email or in person or social media. So voice is definitely our channel. So what's our strategy been about for the last 5 years? Has been based around 3 very simple things. Improving our service through the customer contact centre, providing a self-service website to try and balance out the voice and the self-service, and to provide mobile working for the rest of our staff. The other 430 staff, by the way, only 40 of our staff work in the contact centre, to enable them to give a fantastic service. This has been our little journey over the last 5 years, well, a little bit longer. So back in 2010 was our first real entry into enterprise systems, with finance and HR systems, and shortly after we started with a housing management system, essentially a massive CRM and asset database, and that is the jewels in our crown, the data that we have now stored for 7 or 8 years of information, really valuable, and is helping us understand the customer experience and the customer journey. We didn't have a website, or we had a corporate website. We didn't have a customer-facing website until 2013, and we introduced one then. Naively, I think we thought we will build it, they will come. In actual fact, only about 2% of our customer contact came through a website, and that was basically because we didn't engage with people. We thought they would just build it and they would come. 2014 was the year of giving all our staff tablets so that they could work outside the office, could get most of our systems on there. We still have work to do on that. The last piece of the jigsaw is going in at the moment in terms of document management, and that will really free people from the chains of the documents. 2015, more self-service improvements. 2015, the 6 into 1 contact centre, by which time it was time to refresh all our infrastructure and our wide area network, disaster recovery arrangements. You will see from what I'm telling you that in technology terms we're a long way behind the general market, and it's only in the last 5-10 years that we have moved forward. Last year, with the help of GCI, we introduced Skype for Business and a unified comms contact centre expert, which now handles all of those channels, voice, web chat, email, and social media to come. And lastly, a couple of months ago, we relaunched our My Account self-service website, this time with the right publicity, and yeah, within 6 weeks we've got 20% of people now using the website. So, a little bit about what's happening out there, and it follows on if you were listening to Alex's presentation about the difference between the generational gap and millennials and how they're using technology. But most of our customers, 50% of our customers are retired people. That doesn't mean they won't engage with self-service website, but their preference is for voice. Vast preference for voice. And if you imagine that the majority of our calls are to ring up about a repair required, there's a certain amount of emotion involved in that, and when things get emotional, that's when people also want to talk to people. Apart from that, our customers are driven by the same drivers as the rest of the population, and they see Uber and ASOS and Just Eat, and that's the sort of level of customer experience that they are expecting. And lastly, applying both to staff and customers, and I would say our senior leaders, our board members, our executives, is they hear a lot about cyber attacks and GDPR regulations and get a little bit scared. So, you know, part of my job is trying to calm everybody down when British Airways or TalkTalk or even the NHS are in the press. Accent Connect was our project last year, helped by GCI.com. So Skype for Business telephone system. We call the project Accent Connect. We get the unified communications with incoming voice, callback facility, web chat, incoming mail. We trigger from our housing management system when people trip over a certain amount of arrears, and that goes into the contact centre outward bound campaign for our staff to ring out and ask if people need help, as in, or can we collect some of your rent arrears. And lastly, we do customer satisfaction survey on the back of through text messaging service. Skype for Business gives you presence management, so the location and status of every member of staff in the business. So that should, in theory, give us a seamless transfer to a second line support or expert on a particular subject. We'd like to get to the point where we are able to transfer through to our repairs contractors. We have 5 different contractors, and being able to put somebody through and say, can I send you a picture of a broken boiler, would be an amazing customer experience thing. We get real-time management information, and as I said, in the future, federation with our contractors and the use of video. We're enabled now, so we're on the journey, we're improving step by step. Okay, just in terms of our contact centre staff, the new system has really given them some organisation. So we get a screen pop as the customer, as the call comes in, into our housing management system, into our CRM database. On the left-hand side is the contact expert, on the right-hand side is our housing management system. Because of the unified comms, it's presented to our agent one task at a time. So before, they were perhaps dealing with a call and an email open and getting themselves into a bit of a mess. In fact, one of the things that we found in the first week is that we had 5,000 emails we didn't know about. They were just hidden around our systems. So this has given us the single queue. We know exactly now how many calls are waiting, but how many emails are waiting to be dealt with as well. And advisors have their own personal wall board, so can see their own performance, see how well they're doing, see how many calls have answered. So that helps them to manage themselves. This is our main wall board in the contact centre. So you can see how many voice calls waiting, how many in progress, web chats. That's the email. So as I said, when we first turned that on, that popped up at 6,000, and we went, whoa, where did we get those from? And then the who's been in the queue the longest, and then our service levels. So very simple management tool, just able to see where we are. So we've got the service level, the time to answer, where we are with ringbacks. We've started to look at the management information that's available on duplicate calls. So why is somebody ringing us 5 times a day? Are they chasing a repair? Is the repairs contractor not giving us the service that we expected? A little bit about data analytics. So if I go back to our strategy of contact centre, contact centre, flexible working and self-service website, then I think a fourth one is coming in, which is about data analytics. And for the social housing sector, that's been very much driven by the Grenfell tragedy and understanding where we are with fire risk assessments, electricity compliance, gas safety compliance. And when you've got 21,000 properties and there's a gas check required every year, and one health and safety inspection might reveal 30 improvement actions, that clear data analytics really helps us to focus in on what the issues are. We have our challenges, like I suspect everybody else does, in terms of missing data, KPI definitions. Does that include garages or does it not include garages? And system reportings. What I've found with every single system that we've adopted is that the reporting is the weakest element of the system, and we've stuck ClickView on top of all our systems to help us manage that problem. We've dabbled a bit with segmentation. Again, I suspect others are far ahead in terms of understanding their customer behaviour better than we do. And we start to think of digital marketing and trying to engage and bring in different groups into self-service rather than voice and similar. And of course earlier this year, wasn't it? Yeah. GDPR and retention of records and documents became a lot more challenging for us. I'd noticed the translation, the Yorkshire accent slightly different, so GDPR is now GDPI. That's good. I think the biggest benefit and surprise for me through the adoption of Skype for Business was actually the culture change that enabled, and was much bigger than I was expecting. So, in terms of culture and benefits, what that has given us is an absolute new focus on the customer journey. That wall board of 97% calls answered, average time to answer, that permeates right throughout the organisation, and people are interested to know how's the contact centre doing today. If our service level dips, what can we do to improve performance? The outbound campaigns have also made us think a little bit smarter about what can we do to be more proactive, to be more predictive, to reduce the amount of reactive calls coming in. And we've had to think again about resilience and changing hours and emergency cover. So for example, when we had the Beast from the East in, when was it? End of February, beginning of March this year. The only part of our organisation that fell over was the contact centre because nobody could get into the building. The rest of us just work from home as normal. In terms of flexible working, mobile working, then Skype for Business has been easy to use. The presence management, everybody knowing where we are and what we're doing, the video conferencing, screen and file sharing in meetings, and the business continuity always being on has enabled us all to be much more agile and work together better. And in terms of corporate impact, well, I'm here today speaking to you, asked by GCI as one of their flagship projects, and that was an award-winning project in the sector's award ceremony. We won the best use of technology for the introduction of this particular combination of technologies. It's enabled us to work in much better in partnership with both our technology suppliers, especially GCI, but also our repairs and maintenance contractors as well. So that change of culture for customer experience, for flexible and mobile working, and for corporate impact has been real benefit in such a short time as well. We went live with this in February the 5th, 2018. So by June we were sort of working normal, full adoption, and we keep go from strength to strength in terms of customer service. So just in terms of how this has impacted outside and inside, so our staff have the same same expectations of consumers. People and technology, particularly in a people-centred organisation, don't always mix. And so we've had to do a lot in terms of encouraging, engaging, asking people to adopt, and that remains a challenge. We've moved from systems to little applications, and we've got a little bit of our staff, new staff coming in with the millennial thinking versus older staff and being a bit parental about it. In terms of our customers, then they also expect the Amazon experience. Social housing is a digitally immature sector, I think. We think our customer base is different, but it's not. It's absolutely not. I think it's absolutely typical of the population. We don't have massive marketing budgets, so our approach to engagement is nudge rather than shift. We're trying to encourage our frontline staff, our housing officers, to be able to mentor our customers into a self-service experience. And of course 70% of our customers, like 70% of everybody's customers, are using a smartphone, and that's what we've built our latest website platform around. So, in summary, our approach has been very simple. Just focus on these three things. Our customer contact centre, that's where 80% of our service is delivered. Our self-serve website, in the long run, will help to make us more efficient and to allow customers to have the choice of which channel they wish to come to. And lastly, to provide mobile working systems, applications, kit that allow our staff to move out of our buildings and connect with our customers on their doorsteps. So in terms of investment, I reckon in terms of time and resources, 40% has gone into customer contact, 40% into self-service website, and 20% into mobile working. The clock turns, and I think our next bit is mobile working too, and making our systems even more agile. So, I think that's it. Thank you very much indeed.